city with nearly 3,000 years of existence, and it is most influential in arts, architectural designs, and cultural diversity. Ancient ruins such as forums and Colosseum invoke the power of former Roman Catholics churches and has the St. Peter's Basilica and Vatican Colosseum, which house masterpieces such as Michelangelo, Sistine Chapel, and the La Cita Amore outsourcing. The Romans' problem near the end of ancient Rome, unemployment skyrocketed. The slaves were overtaking every job out there, and the jobless were willing to give it happen. If we could stop it, how could we? Today's economy has the same problem. How can we stop the Rome's outsourcing and slaves? Save the empire. What we know, the Rome slaves were cheap to employ. There were plenty of slaves because of the large amount of debt, and the main city conquered. There were no new inventors and easy ways of doing things being created because the slaves only did things the way they were taught how. Slaves were taken from conquered civilization since there was a high want of slaves in meant for civilization to be taken. So more welfare and supplies were needed to supply the main people.
Slaves took up space. Since the wealthy were practically using a slave to even wipe their mouths for them, much space was needed for the heavy amount of slaves. What we know, most overseas jobs in the US are based upon energy for mining energy. This is a modern version of a Roman's problem with outsourced farming. The outsourcing going on overseas is helping save money without causing inflation, but is taking jobs away from unemployed Americans. Although banning outsourcing would stop the rising unemployment rate, it would cause prices to rocket. A normal 2-gallon milk jug would cost $5. There are many Chinese and Indian outsources, but Mexico is also a heavy contributor to the alien labor. This takes away jobs from tax-paying Americans who don't have jobs. Outsourcing has caused an uproar in Congress, and there is supposedly a new law that is being made to control the number of companies that are using foreign workers. Outsourcing is a very common thing throughout many companies.
Ni hao! Welcome to China. I am Jeff, and I'm here at the Great Hall of China. China is one of the populous nation of East Asia, and Beijing is the capital of China. Of course, one of the historical sites here in China is the wonderful Great Wall of China, Tiananmen Square, the Forbidden Palace. For its time zone, geographically China cover 5 time zones, which is Zhongyuan, Longchu, Tibet, Kunlun, and Shanghai to its time zone. However, the standard times used in Chinese man- mainland, which is Hong Kong and Macau, Taiwan provides the same time, for they are all in the same time zone, 8 hours ahead of the universal time coordinated.
The most common reasons for outsourced manufacturing is the reduction of cost. American companies outsource manufacturing to China to have their goods assembled or completely built overseas at incredibly low cost. China accounts for one-fifth of the global manufacturing, making it the largest manufacturing nation in the world. Shanghai will remain the manufacturing center of quality electronic devices because they have the skilled labor as well as the excellent engineers required to produce the high quality products, while many other regions specialize in other types of manufacturing such as plastics, automotive, textile, and others. Starting a business in Starting a business is an expensive venture. It it can cost a significant amount of money, and the risks are great. Hence, many people consider cutting costs by outsourcing their production to the countries like China. Some of the most significant benefits of outsourcing manufacturing to China are labor costs. Labor remains one of the most biggest costs of any manufacturing company. Keeping in mind that the outsourcing labor cost doesn't always remain moving to the production to the other country, companies can also outsource labor simply by using workers from temporary agencies, or staffing becomes much more flexible out, while it is being outsourced.
Um, so another reason of outsourcing in China is because of the affordable products. In China, you get highly quality products for a mere fraction that you would expect to pay back home. Chinese factories provide discounted rates for bulk orders, therefore you get more of your money. Other reasons
can be superior results. Factories are very particular when it comes to quality. However, regulations vary when provinces, um, wait lang, wala siya. Generally, outsourcing reduces manufacturing costs, and this will help the company you choose to create exactly what you want. And since these Chinese factories aim to please their clients, you can expect high quality products and prompt delivery.
So, another reason is their focus. With the production outsourced, the company can now focus its resources, both human and financial, on the areas that increase revenue and profit. Generally, outsourcing reduces manufacturing costs. So, if the company increases its revenue through a better focus on sales and marketing, it increases its profit margin as well. Another is prompt service. Due to a huge population, manpower is abundant in China. With a high ratio of potential employees, Chinese factories have no reservations about hiring more people, depending on the amount of business you give them. Therefore, you are assured of a faster production rate.
Addition, one of the best reason to outsource your product in line to China is the diverse amount of parts and raw materials available. Keep in mind that if you have design, they don't have the stock, so most factories will be willing to make them based on your specification. Uh, for the contract manufacturers might produce good for two or more companies and even for competitors within the same industry. Since the contract manufacturer has more production capacity than the original manufacturing company, they can typically respond to increased production requirements faster than the original manufacturer.
So there are the reasons of why you should outsource in China.
Meow.